keep you long because we know what we're here for, but wow, thank you guys so much for filling this place. It's an amazing event. We are so proud to be a part of it. Thank you for taking the time. And on behalf of TD Waterhouse and all our TD Bank group, we want to thank you for taking the time with us tonight. And to help us raise money for the Three Oaks Foundation. So we're really excited to be a part of this. I promised I would not embarrass my son, but
Rick Mercer's here, Rick Mercer's here.
that's for you, buddy. And for those of you who are not familiar with who Rick Mercer is or why you're even here tonight because you've been living under a rock, and I'm not talking about Newfoundland, you might recall back in the 90s there was this show called This Hour Has 22 Minutes. And I might remind you, yeah, it was a great show. As I was pulling the intro together, and I'm looking up things, and it took me down memory lane, because sadly the 90s was not last year. So I'm looking at this thing, and I'm remembering that one of the earliest memories I have of Rick Mercer, and where it struck me was, he had this petition going around on the internet, where you signed up because he was trying to get Stockwell Day's name changed to Doris. I don't know whatever happened. And you also might remember talking to Americans. Yeah. So I remember a couple of bits where you had the university professors signing the bit to stop the baby seal hunt in Saskatchewan. or when he had George W. Bush convinced that our Prime Minister's name was Jean Poutine. And he had Americans on there going, "Congratulations, Canada, on getting that 24-hour clock." Right? I mean, he is truly a great Canadian. He takes great pride in Canada. He has inspired us all to enjoy our own country. He takes great pride in poking fun at politics and politicians. And I think he's been referred to as the official opposition, didn't matter which party you were with. And I honestly believe it's not just about politics, obviously, with the Rick Mercer show, those of you who are fans. He gets to do all kinds of adventures. And I honestly think that most days I have the best job in the world dealing with clients. But Rick might have me beat on a few things. He's done fabulous adventures, be it whether he's ice sailing out here in the Bay of Quinte, or he's racing a Ferrari against an airplane. Now, with the exception that he did jump naked into a lake with Bob Ray, he can have that. I don't want that. That's not something I want to be a part of. And we can't forget his rants. His latest book, A Nation Worth Ranting About, is a collection of some of the funniest rants, a couple of extras, and I think he's going to share some of them with us tonight. He has absolutely captivated our hearts. He has made us laugh. He appeals to all generations. I can tell there's some kids in the audience. I mean, I forced my child to watch this. I think it's good education. But he really does appeal to all ages. And with his Spread the Net campaign, he got kids involved. He got kids inspired. They raised enough money. They've sent over 560,000 nets to areas that needed to fight malaria. So, I mean, it's such a big deal. And we're so happy that he's here to share his time and his talent. I really hoped he was going to parachute in tonight or zip line in tonight. It's not going to happen. I offered to piggyback him. He said no. But anyway, without further ado, people, Rick Mercer.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that kind introduction. I know what you're thinking, my God, he's so tall. It is great to be here in Belleville for the Three Oaks Shelter. What a wonderful cause, and for a nation worth ranting about. I thought that's what I would rant about tonight, a nation worth ranting about, because I do believe, as Jennifer suggested, that I have the best job in the country. But because I have that job, I literally have not unpacked in 10 years. But because I haven't unpacked in 10 years, it means that I look at a map of Canada the way most people look at a map of their hometown. Like, I live in Ontario now for the last 10 years, so I say, well, you know, I live downtown now. I guess that's where I live, downtown. Do you ever make it out to the east end of town? Sure, you know, I make it out to Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI like 25, 30 times a year. Ever make it out to the west end of town? Well, not as often, but you know, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, you know, 20, 25 times a year. Make it up to the north end of town, not as much as I'd like, twice a year, Iqaluit, see what a $25 tomato tastes like. True Canadian experiences. You know, it is cliche to say that the secret to happiness is figure out what it is that you love to do and then figure out a way to make a living at it. But I have found myself saying that very same thing in situations not dissimilar to this one, except instead of talking to a group of professionals who are raising money for a good cause, I'm talking to young graduates who are in their caps and their gowns and they're graduating for the very first time. And that's what I tell them. Figure out what it is that makes you tick and then figure out a way to make a living at it. And now that you've graduated, you have a responsibility to get to know Canada. And not just its big cities, every nook and cranny. Sure, by all means, go to Toronto, go to the top of the CN Tower, bring Jan Ard and scare the shit out of her. That's important work. That's important work, but you have to get to know all of Canada. And before you die, promise yourself you'll stand above the tree line. Because if you stand above the tree line, you will love this country all that much more. That will make for a better country because we fight for what we love.